Hello, everyone. We're team number 2 partnering with Société Générale for Master's Year 1 academic projects. And in this video, I'll give you a brief background of the banking regulations and the frameworks of a project and why we're actually doing it. To start with, in order to manage their risks, banks need to calculate the amount of capital they need to keep to cover extreme losses in unprecedented scenarios like in the 2008 financial crisis. These risks, they have different natures, such as the credit risk, for instance, in the banking book, or the market risk in the trading book. And as part of the FRTB team, that's fundamental review of the trading book, we focus in the market risk, which studies the losses on positions and respectively their hedging due to movements in the market. For example, movements in the spots, in the rates and volatilities. There are mainly two ways for banks to calculate the market risk. First of all, there's the standard method. It is easier to implement, but it requires more capital. That's more costly in terms of capital. And there's the internal methods, which is harder to implement, but more specific to a certain portfolio, which leads to less capital. And during the last few years, European and global banking authorities imposed banks to calculate several risk metrics, such as the expected shortfall and the default risk charge. In this project, we will focus on the default risk charge, which is a risk metric that captures the default risk in a portfolio of equities, and credit. And for each product, we will forecast the impact of the default, which is the P&L. As the largest losses in a portfolio is generated by simultaneous defaults of multiple entities, our main objective is to simulate scenarios that will capture the default and its time for each entity, for instance, Société Générale, AXA, Boeing. And the default time of the entities will be compared to the maturities of each position on these entities. And in the final round, we will calculate the sum of the impacts for each position to obtain a global profit and loss of the default scenarios. These simulations need to be done for an important number of scenarios, for example, 1 million. And the capital in charge that the bank needs to keep is the 0.01% worst scenario, which is given by the authorities. To model the quantiles of the default risk, it is fundamental that we use in this project metrics to characterize the likelihood of simultaneous events. And therefore, we will use tail dependency and copula notions. The copula notion will be used for simultaneous default probability for a given scenario. If you're interested by the project, tune into your showroom channel on Thursday, the 1st of April, and we would happily explain you our projects. Thank you.